The beauty in the subject comes from an understanding of true beauty within God. So math becomes more elegant, science becomes more wondrous, history becomes that much more impactful because the foundation is God himself. Okay, welcome back everybody to another edition of VitO Rambles. We are about to pass into the gates to hell. We've beaten Surt and Valravan. About to enter into these gates and see what awaits us in the beyond. Also have some further thoughts on the shift that I'm seeing happen in the culture today. So, gonna be fun. Join me. Last time I went into the reality of our kids being taught a lot of the time by people with different values than we do. And it got me thinking, one of the things that we're seeing a lot nowadays, especially in, well, with these corporations that are, you would think, just should be focused on selling us things and giving us things to consume. Instead, they seem to be more focused on virtue signaling. And so when one of these companies comes out, you get a group of conservatives who are just like, boycott this, boycott that. And sure, that's an option, you know. So when something like this happens, we get angry. And, you know, rightfully so, because we just want to buy a pair of shoes, or we just want to watch some, you know, a show that we really enjoyed, but for some reason has decided to spend its time preaching to us on things that we don't really agree with. We take these things seriously, or, you know, some of us do. Why not have that same passion and fervor for these individuals who are teaching our kids with a foundation that we don't agree with a worldview that we don't agree with? And I think that's a big thing. I don't believe you can separate education from a worldview, because the worldview that you have is how you approach the world, how you approach education. So if you are coming at it with a worldview of a Christian, you're going to preach, or you're going to teach with the understanding that all things come from God. And so the beauty is found in the subject comes from an understanding of true beauty within God. So math becomes more elegant, science becomes more wondrous, so on and so forth. History becomes that much more applicable. How do we say it? History becomes that much more impactful because the foundation is God himself. Same thing from an atheistic perspective. They're coming at it from a perspective that there is no God. And so things come down to chance. Things come down to circumstance. Things come down to it started with nothing and ultimately ends in nothing. I died.
Too slow. She's hurt, there's blood.
I'm killing. I am a capable warrior. Why does that sound like Ray? And you know, with that topic in mind, an interesting thought. The atheist takes very serious their ideology, and they take very serious what their kids are exposed to. They don't want their kids exposed to a religious ideology, a religious worldview. Why don't we do the same? Why do we not have that same fervor? Because the more I think about it, the more I've come to believe that by sending your kids to the public school, there isn't that same fervor. There isn't that same passion, same drive that says, no, my kids will know God. My kids will know there is a God. These are things that I've really come to understand in the last few weeks. And though I was asleep, I'm finding myself waking up more and more.
The gate. It's opening.
Who is it? It's coming.
That song again.
Is it?
It's Hella.
Yes, the source of the darkness. It's coming. This is your moment.
I'm sorry. I can't watch this.
What are you doing? You're showing weakness. You're not a warrior. You're a disgrace. The gods will punish you for this. Pick up the sword. Pick it up. Fight the darkness. Fight it. Get up. Get up. Get up and fight.
Stormy seas and lost souls. She's dreamt of this before. They say dreams are visions of our memories, thoughts and fears, as seen by our inner eye. But what if if one of us is always dreaming, even when awake, and we only see what our inner eye creates for us? Is this what hell is? A world shaped by Senua's nightmares? Maybe that's why people feared seeing the world through her eyes. Because if you believe that Senua's reality is twisted, you must accept that yours might be too.
You failed the gods. You're pathetic. Rotten. Cursed. What were you thinking? Did you really think you could win? How stupid can you be?
So stupid.
Everyone hates her. She's cursed.
The shadow hates.
Look at you. A warrior. Worthless. Weak. Pathetic. Go on. Feel sorry for yourself, because there is no one left to do that for you.
Everywhere. You failed. What's that?
Take it. If you're too much of a coward to fight, then end the suffering. Broken and lost. Just like your sword.
Come on. There.
Why go on when you give everything and face that which torments you, only to find that it is worse than you could have imagined? Why go on? Is it really so weak to ask this? Or are we just so afraid of the honest answer that we do not dare pose the question? Sometimes the answer lies in a memory, a feeling, a song.
It's not real. It's a trick. It's not real. Listen to it.
Don't give up.
Daddy, it's
Not like this.
It's not real. It is real. It's a trick. Don't trust it. Maybe you're already dead.
Who are you?
Do you still believe in me, Senua?
No, it's
Enough.
It's a trick. It's a trick. He's already dead. He can't be here. It's impossible.
Come to me. Please.
The light. Go towards the light. It's him. There he is. It can't be him. It's just a trick. It's in your mind. No, he's here. It's in your mind. It's real. It's happening. Go towards nothing, Lily. He's gone. You were too slow. How could you? Keep going. How could you? Keep going. Ignore the pain. I told you it was to trick you.
There's a thought that I've
Come.
had in my mind for years now. Not
There it is.
original with me, but something I've
Go towards
carried
quick. Go.
nonetheless, and that's the idea
He disappears.
that
Go.
people want to believe that they would run into danger when faced with the life or death circumstance and risking their safety to protect and save something they love. We want to believe we'd run into that burning building if it called for it.
When you first met him, she was not in a good place. Just a teenager, but not like the others. Barely functioning, she rarely left the house. Her father's in-bell made sure of that. Only occasionally did she venture out on her own, collecting firewood and herbs. Errands out in the Orkney Plains. That was her world. Like this one. Barren, and lonely.
But we'd never really know, would we? Until that time came. We'd never truly know how we would behave. How would we react? Would we be cowards? Or would we forsake ourselves and fight? It's easy to be complacent.
There he was, the lone figure of a boy.
He's there, under the tree.
Sword play under the shade of a tree. She remembers the first time she saw him. To her young eyes, he moved as if dancing, and the world danced with him.
Under the tree.
The gloom lifted. The first time in years she felt a ray of hope.
It's easy to do nothing. It's easy to just let the world go. Let life happen and just go with the flow. So what ends up happening is that your foundation becomes like sand. And it collapses at the first wave. And that's what I don't want for myself. Will I stand and fight for these convictions?
Day after day, watching from afar, she mimicked him, perfecting her own secret dance, wishing those fleeting moments of light would stretch out to last forever.
I said in an earlier video that the decision to transition to homeschool wasn't necessarily an ideological shift. But the more I've been talking, the more I've been thinking, it really is. And it's not just with the school.
You can't even fight. It's just deception.
How does he so effortlessly?
Look how fast things have moved in the last year and a half.
See the world through eyes anew and dance with it, just like he does.
I mean, we're moving at lightning speed here. I remember entering to 2020 and things were great. Everyone was living their lives. We were working, we were enjoying life, we were with family.
What's your name?
Having fun. I'll let this cutscene play.
I haven't seen you before.
I'm not. I don't leave home much.
Oh, Zenua's daughter.
I have to go.
Wait. Who taught you to fight like that?
No one.
No one.
Well, I watched you, and
You learnt all of that from watching me? You should become a warrior, you know.
me?
I'm Dillian. I'm here for the warrior trials. Come and watch. And bring your sword.
You can't put it into words. That moment when you look into the eyes of the one who's supposed to reassure you, make you feel safe. It only takes an instant. Fear swallows you before you have a chance to make sense of it. And darkness becomes a part of who you are. But her world changed the day the Northmen took him from her. Senua knows that there's no going back to how things were. That there's nothing to go back to at all.
Stay still, stay quiet, hide, don't tell her.
Their gods can see into your mind. They will use this power to destroy you.
They won't stop me. I can still feel him.
Whatever's left of him They will never let him go.
I'm not gonna let him rot here!
You're the one rotting here.
Leave me alone!
You will die here.
No!
And all your suffering will have been for nothing.
Shut up! Dillian? Is that you? I'll find you, my love. I promise.
Nothing lit.
We're not aligned. The culture, people,
You met him by the tree.
there's a division now. And so it's come to the reality that it's more than just a mask. It's more than just a vaccine. It's more than just 15 days. It's a boot on the neck. And those who oppose get beaten, get criticized, get demeaned, are belittled. And you either end up complying, or if they had their way, they'd kill you. I do not want to comply. I do not want to just let myself get taken. I just realized I had my camera off. I do not want to live my life going with the flow, being complacent, and losing that which I hold dear to the system. I refuse.
Take it. A sword. Take it. Dillian left it for you. Take it. Take it. It's a trick. It's ending. It's coming from there and there. What are they? Look, where's it coming from? She started something.
What's happening?
Senua, imagine a sword that can slay gods. Its name is Gramr. It was forged by the god of all Northmen, Odin, and gifted to Sigmund, a great warrior.
I need this sword. It's important. Can you help me?
The sword appears whole, but it is an illusion. It shattered into shards long ago. It is said a great warrior can reforge Gramr by answering the trials of Odin, one for each shard. The roots of the tree of death will take you to new lands where you will face the trials.
Go to the shards. Go to the shard.
Go to the shards.
What's the shard? Find it.
It's the metal runestones.
It's in front of you. Find it. Get closer. What can you see? Go to it. It's not safe.
Don't go near it.
A king in the north forced the dwarves to make a sword that would never fail and never rust, and that would slice through iron, stone, and bring victory to its bearer. But the angry dwarves cursed it. It would be the death of a man every time it was drawn, and it would be the death of the king. Let me tell you about the sword Tyrving.
I don't recognize this place. Where are we? Where is she?
It feels wrong.
Where are we now? Burial mound. So strange that we go to such lengths to bury death. Something so very ordinary, inevitable. It's as if we conspire to hide death, because we have no answer for it. But when it comes and forces itself onto our friends or loved ones, then comes the reckoning.
So I want to be prepared. I want to be prepared to give my life, to give my all, to give my everything. Because there is nothing more important than them. I'll fight for my kids. I have to. It's time that I take this as a life or death matter. It is something extremely serious. And it's not just in the taking them out of the school. Like that's just step one. That's just a little piece. That's not the whole battle. It's filling that gap with something much more substantial. Something much more durable. The cliche, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Like that, it's a cliche for a reason.
Go in. You have to go in. Take the torch. It's too dark. Take it. This will help you. Careful. You have to be able to see.
Who's there? Dillian, I'm here. I'm here for the trials. Like when we first met, remember?
There he is. There he is. Dillian. There he is. Finally. I found him.
What's wrong? What happened? Can you hear me? Just wait there. I'll find you. I'll find him.
The key is to disconnect. Decentralize, as they say.
Listen, listen, listen. It's him. Listen. It's getting louder. There he is. You're getting closer. Keep going. Senua, follow the voice. You're nearly there. Dillian's voice. It's him.
Doesn't sound like Dillian.
What's happening?
Quiet.
It's not even.
He wants me to find him. I'm lost without him.
That's not Dillian.
That doesn't sound like what's in there.
What is it?
A secret room.
Through bars.
How do you get in there?
How does she get?
That voice. It's not Dillian.
Find a way. It has to be a way.
Find a way.
There's always a way.
Don't stop now. Don't give up now. Find a way.
You're too close to stop.
Dillian wants me to face my fears. Father? I'm leaving. I've decided. I think it will be good for me.
It's the darkness. It's speaking through
No,
you.
Dad, it's me. I think I can beat it. In my own way.
I can see the darkness in your eyes, child.
I met a boy.
Boy.
The chieftain's son.
No.
He said he could help me.
It's a trick.
He said I could be normal.
Normal.
Yes.
No boy is going to save you. No one can. When they see the rot growing inside you,
No!
they will turn their back on you. The gods can only fix you through my hand. You're going nowhere.
No.
You will not defy the gods. Come, child, take my hand. Come. Senua.
I am leaving!
cannot escape the darkness. Your curse will make everyone suffer. You will have blood on your hands!
And so, we'll end it here. Disconnecting from the system. That is how we will survive. Not letting the roots of control take hold of your mind, of your heart, of your spirit. You better fight. We have to fight. That or comply. That is the message today. I said earlier that I realized this all comes down to that ideological shift. The understanding that where they are is not where I am. So what am I gonna do about it? I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna teach my kids. My wife and I together, we will raise up our kids, lead them down the path that we believe will provide them the most success. We're gonna do it. It's not about me, it's not about my wife, it's about them and us laying ourselves down so that they can walk on a firm foundation. That's where we are. And that's who I'm gonna be. We're gonna keep talking about things like this. I know it's getting a little bit more serious than my previous videos were more lighthearted, and I still plan to be lighthearted. But I think I've realized that I must stand for something or I will fall for anything. And so you guys do the same. Do the same with me, but not for me. Do it for yourselves. And if you like this, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Look forward to talking on more topics like this and really understanding that the best thing that I can do is think and teach my kids how to think. Not what to think, how to think. So we'll see you in the next one. Thank you for joining. And as always, be good.